Every time these two teams meet, one of the FPHL's newest rivalries gets ramped up to a higher temperature, and lately the tempers seem to be incapable of cooling. We are only a few months into the season, and yet there's already been a ton of history in this building between the Crustaceans and the Cats. Will the Lobsters pinch one back in what is a huge weekend for PD, or will the hosts welcome Athens in with a lack of hospitality? Good evening, Crustacean Nation, and welcome to Military Appreciation Weekend at the Florence Center, where the PD IceCats take on your Athens Rock Lobsters. My name is Mateen Rad, and you're watching the ARL network on both YouTube and Sporfy, and the Piedmont Athens Regional Pregame Show starts right here and right now. The Rock Lobsters are coming off an electric 3-game weekend back home in the tank, where the team defeated a familiar foe in the IceCats twice on Friday and Saturday before a Sunday decimation of the Columbus River Dragons that put Athens back atop the Continental Division. And while that may no longer be the case, that doesn't mean that the Rock Lobsters aren't still in control of their destiny. After laying down a beating in Biloxi last night, the Moccasins are in first place in the division, but nothing really changes. If Athens defeats PD in both games this weekend, it's still tip-top Lobsters in the Continental. This is a rivalry that has so far been very friendly for the record of the Athens Rock Lobsters through the first 8 meetings between these two teams. The Crustaceans are currently 7-1 against the Kitties this season. However, the one loss for the Rock Lobsters came on this ice here in the Florence Center. As Rock Lobster fans may remember from last weekend, this PD team is perhaps at its most explosive and dangerous when down a man. They logged their league-leading 10th short-handed goal against the Rock Lobsters last weekend in Friday's game. Athens was held to 0 for 8 on the power play. The Classic City Club would then come out the next night and score 4 man advantage goals. In a time where Garrett Rutledge would love to get some important players back from injury, it is unfortunately only bad news on the personnel side in the Athens forward engine starters. Philip Virgilio will move from the wing back to center to take the spot of his line mate Joe Mack, who misses out today due to a knock. Malik Johnson will stay on that left side, and Brandon Picard finds a home on the other wing. Carter Shinkarik and Joe Colatarsi will get the first shift on the blue line, while Carter McPhail gets back-to-back starts after securing his league-leading 3rd shutout of the year on Sunday against Columbus. He's a fan favorite here in the PD. Kyle Powell will be the 10th forward tonight. Besides that, no other changes of note. Starting lineup is brought to you by Akins Ford. If you need a pickup to your day, week, month, or year, gonna make a deal for a pickup truck at the biggest and best Ford dealership in the Peach State, Akins Ford. We're minutes away from hockey, but that does it for the Piedmont Athens Regional Pregame Show. Piedmont, real change lives here. IceCats making their way out to the ice. A moment in reflection for all those who have lost their life tragically defending this country in what is Military Appreciation Weekend here at the Florence Center.
Thank you. Fans, please remain standing. Gentlemen, remove your hats as we honor America with our national anthem, being performed tonight by the West Florence High School Night Edition Show Choir, directed by Nikki Raines.
Something else of note with the PD IceCat roster tonight, wearing number 23 will be Kevin Boggs, owner and COO of the PD IceCats, captain of his high school hockey team when he was recruited into the Marine Corps, served 26 years with the Marines and retired as a mastery gunnery sergeant in 2023. A look out to the much brighter ice here in the Florence Center after the new lights have been put in. Looks excellent so far. It's a decent crowd here in Florence, but heard that it's going to be a near sellout, if not a sellout, tomorrow night. Everybody in Florence very, very excited for tomorrow night's game. It's all over the news as soon as I stepped into the hotel lobby. Take a quick look at the goalie matchup tonight. Carter McPhail, one of the 2 Rock Lobster goalies that has 10-plus wins on the season. Sean Kuhn has a total of a 6-2-2 record, but only 2 losses in his 2 games as an IceCat, including last Saturday where he stopped 35 of 41 in a 6-5 loss to the Rock Lobsters. "20 minutes on the clock for the start of this one. Rock Lobsters, PD IceCats. As we said minutes ago, already a lot of history in this building between these 2 teams, and we're only 3 months into the season. And it looks like the Rock Lobsters are going to start with the power play here, as the IceCats must not have made it off the ice in time for the warm-ups. So the game will start with PD down a man. That might be exactly what the doctor ordered for the IceCats, with as good as they've been on the shorthand this year. They scored 2 shorthanded goals last weekend against the Rock Lobsters. They lead the league with 10. Can the Rock Lobsters start this game with a statement and score with a man advantage? Face-off won by the Moscow Mule, Gleb Van Durken, and we're underway in this one. Can't get the pass off. Carterson Carrick batted away by McPhail. First shot on the game goes on the shorthand for the IceCats. Rock Lobsters with rockets in their skates the other way. Neely from the circle over to the other side. Van Durken, Neely here. Right circle, little tip out in front. Jesse Lowell got a tip, but nothing much else other than that. And sent all the way down, and the IceCats will change units. Malik Johnson trying to find a path out of his own ice, and he cuts the sheet with a pass towards Milan, and it gets lost in the Rock Lobsters' number 10 in his skates. Dumas on this power play unit for the Rock Lobsters. Drop pass from Carter Shinkarik, picked back up by Milan. Milan over the red line, tiptoes in, finds a pass at the point. Dom Dumas tries to put it between the skates, and it's sent away by the IceCats from their own crease. Milan, give away to Lord, a break on the shorthand for PD, and they score! Or did they? That one looked like it went in from our perspective up here. And we're going to have to stop play because the goal lights are going. Let me tell you, it has been a confusing and strange start to this one. It looked like it was going to be deja vu for the Rock Lobsters. It looks like they might need a review here. Trevor Lord with the shorthanded break in the other direction. I thought that Lord had scored, but mind you, I'm about as far away from Carter McPhail's crease as I could possibly be in this building. Looks like the referees are consulting with the off-ice officials. Available to you on Sporfy is the behind the net camera. It looks like they're going with no goal here, and then the stoppage in play with the Rock Lobsters in the offensive zone against the IceCats. Nearly everyone in the building thought it was in. Trevor Lord still talking with the Zebras, and I was one of them. Rock Lobsters still on the power play, 30 seconds left of it. A whisker away from going down on the shorthand against the IceCats once again. Here comes the breakaway. No offsides. That one's going to count. What is going on in this one? The IceCats get their shorthanded goal after all. A margin of seconds after Lord's break was called off. The IceCats on a defensive zone faceoff go coast to coast, and Patrick's Marcinkevich with his 19th of the year comes on the shorthand. This is a game that so far has the narrative style of Ripley's Believe It or Not something out of hockey. A little mishandle from Brandon Walker, but it takes it to the wall. Good block there from Dumas on a short range on Razilov. Dominik's Marcinkevich dances away on the near side wall. Enters into the zone, a shot from distance. Creeps wide on McPhail. Virgili trying to settle things down as the Rock Lobsters will go right back to the power play, but is that something that Athens wants at this point? Yet another shorthanded goal for the IceCats as there's hugging, pushing, and shoving right in front of the penalty boxes. We are just a shade over 2 minutes gone in this game. And we've had a shorthanded goal, what we had thought was a shorthanded goal before that. The IceCats did end up getting their 11th shorthanded goal of the year as they lead the league in that category by some margin. But the Rock Lobsters go right back on the Paloma Park power play, and that might not be what they want. Neely gives it away with a pass from the wall somewhere where he's been so good at playmaking. Dominik's Marcinkevich gets called for the penalty and a giveaway from the Rock Lobsters in their own zone. The forecheck is just relentless from the IceCats, despite being down a man in the box. Brandon Walker pokes it in. Tries to get it into a deeper part of the neighborhood. Jesse Lowell helping staple it to the boards as the Rock Lobsters trying to set up shop. Van Durken dances away. Backhands it to the left circle. Maye doesn't see a route that he likes. Little tip out in front. Lowell stabs in at it. Can't get it to go. Van Durken whistles it around. Gullo gets there first but takes a hit from Neely. Fake slapper from Van Durken. Good passing here. Looking for the tip was Maye. Both Neely and Lowell were on the doorstep. But the Rock Lobsters have to reset and recycle out of their own ice. 16:20 to go in the first period. IceCats with a lead. Patrick's Marcinkevich with a shorthanded goal. Rock Lobsters already with their second power play of the game. Milan on the search for the Swede, Virgili, but it finds Johansson, who's getting some power play time here. Milan with a great backhand pass through the slot looking for Johnson. Those two connected on a goal against the River Dragons on Sunday. Malik Johnson's first goal back since returning to the Rock Lobsters. IceCats back at even strength. Wilson sends one through traffic. It bounces out back toward the far wall. Milan can't get through the saloon door. Gets it out of the zone past his former teammate and roommate Houston Wilson. Raziloff and Wilson exchanging in the left circle, and that's a great save by McPhail on the glove. It's an awkward go back to the bench there for the I believe it's either number 10, Matthew Gilbert, or number 20, Bowie Slarks, who has to leave the ice. A stoppage in play here as they're letting the medical staff leave the rink to go check on who that was. The jerseys are a pretty shade of baby blue, but very difficult to read the names and numbers. I've got a bird's eye view here in Florence. Dumas can't get it to go with him. It's a great little entry here, a backhand shot. Good save from Carter McPhail on Matthew Gilbert, so it must have been Bowie Slarks who left the ice. We go to our first commercial break here. Rock Lobsters down 1-0 despite having 2 power plays to start this game.
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about my future in the sport I love. From the moment I met you and your team at Piedmont Athens Regional, you gave me confidence. Your expertise, your care, your support, it all reassured me from the very start. Because of you, I've been able to recover, rebuild, and get back to playing the sport I love. Can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dream alive. Thanks to Dr. Graff and Piedmont Athens Regional, I get to keep playing the game I love.
Athens down off a short-handed goal from Patrick Marcinkiewicz. Stop me if you've heard that one before. Rock Lobsters with just 1 shot on 4 minutes of power play time through the opening 5 minutes of the game. Rock Lobsters have to find their footing. Still plenty of game to go in this one. Really feels like Athens are having a tough time having the puck stick out onto their tape. Little wraparound with a backhand. Chaos in the crease created by PD. The blade of the stick goes flying from Matthew Gilbert. Rock Lobsters try to skate away with it. Put off the boards of the PD bench. Maya sends it back where it came from. Glukarioff takes a hit from a couple of different IceCat players as he dumps in the zone. Maye steps up on the pinch. Della Savita gets it through traffic. Froloff looking for his captain, Miguel Diaz, at the blue line. Former Motor City Rocker has to handle it neutral ice. It's been reminiscent of the starts to games that we saw from the Rock Lobsters early on in the season. The month of October and November, the first period wasn't necessarily their friend. Big hit attempted by Petey on Philip Virgili at the bench. Here's the man who tried to implement that hit, Vadim Frolov. Joe Colatarsi fizzes it in. Lowell, great defensive play there from a man who has really established himself not only as a two-way player, but also as a great scorer. 10 goals, 20 assists for 30 points on the year. Wilson tries it from a short angle. IceCats are going to go up on a power play themselves. Johnson will touch up. Well, right now they're already controlling the narrative on the special teams with a shorthanded goal in this one. Malik Johnson gets called for an elbow, and we'll have the first Leslie Jones-Law penalty kill of the game. Strong, skilled, strategic defense. The IceCats right in the middle of the pack for their power play on the season.
Rock Lobsters number 67, Malik Johnson, 2-minute minor for hooking. Your IceCats are on the tip.
Looks like it was announced as a hooking against Johnson. Face-off one, Razilov handles it, falls to Wilson in the right circle, off the end boards. Della Savita through traffic, glove save McPhail. Taking a look at the ice, it does really feel like it's a sheet that's already seen 3 periods of play. It looks heavily worn already, and we've only played 7.5 minutes. But everybody playing on the same ice. Both teams getting frustrated here on the faceoff or lack thereof. Shot all the way down. Kuhn, former Monroe Moccasin, in his 3rd start as a PD IceCat. Della Savita doesn't see anyone behind him, but doesn't see anyone in front of him either, and he'll enter the zone. Gets through Wilson. Virgili fighting for all he's worth. Phil getting filthy. Johansson in the near side corner takes a big hit into the glass. Brandon Picard able to poke it over the head of Lord. Dominics Marcinkevich evades Picard. Dominics brings up some snow as he stomps on the brakes. Philip Virgili getting wrapped up with someone with a chrome dome in that far side corner. Razilov, 16 points on the year, all assists. Colatarsi does a good job at getting in between a player and a puck. Great centering pass. McPhail watches one sail wide and past him and past the post. Razilov again, out of Novichok, Russia. Razilov, 36 years old, a veteran of the game, but his first year in the States. Malik Johnson back out on the ice. Petey, though, with the advantage in shots at 5-2. A whistle and a stoppage in play here at the Florence Center. This is a line that has gelled well over the past month or so. Van Durken, Lowell, and Neely. Puck is looking sticky in the hands of the linesman, and Van Durken gets kicked out. Carter Shinkarik has his skates get stuck. PD with a near 2-on-1 developing, but the Rock Lobsters on the back check are able to make things a little bit easier for McPhail. McPhail always calm, cool, and collected, but feel like he's been even more so since his stint in the ECHL. 40 saves in the 6-0 win against the River Dragons on January 11th. Leads the league in goose eggs put up on the scoreboard. Athens has just been unable to carve out a path towards Kuhn. Will that change with Neely? Neely can't handle it, goes back into the middle ice. Stopped at the blue. Malik Johnson, I think he got a skate under that puck that took it over the bar. Van Durken wipes out, stands right back up to his feet and is able to stick handle. Van Durken wins it back. The Moscow Mule working like a mule right now on the forecheck. Getting the dirty parts of the ice. Maye. Off the stick of a PD IceCat player. That's Abdella. Handled down by Charlie Bedard, who takes a hit from Van Durken. East Coast to West Coast pass from Johnson towards Maye. That one gets under the blade of the stick of Johnson. Through 11 minutes played, it's potentially 11 minutes the Rock Lobsters would want to have back. Brandon Picard with a dump in, Philip Virgili with a chase. Della Savita can't get it away from Phil. But the IceCats able to get it away from the Rock Lobsters. Nobody really able to settle the puck, no matter what zone it is. Popoff can't turn away from Picard, but from a prone position is able to get it back in his good graces. Through Wilson, picked up by Walker. He's been on a little scoring run lately. Chaos out in front. Kuhn able to direct it away. And the IceCats looking explosive, trying to create another break here. Matt Garcia able to try and help put out the fire. Wilson. Shot still from the IceCats as they put one on McPhail once again, but the scoreline stays where it is, and it's still unfavorable for the Rock Lobsters. Stay tuned with us here on the ARL Network. January 24th against the Biloxi Breakers is more than just a game. It's a birthday party. Join us at Aikens Ford Arena for Claudius's birthday bash as our favorite crustacean sensation celebrates his big day in style. We're talking giveaways, kids' activities, surprise mascot guests, and even a giant birthday cake, all leading into puck drop at 7:05. You do not want to miss the biggest birthday party of the season, so get your tickets at rocklobstershockey.com today. What you might not be able to see or understand on your stream is just how cut up, how scarred the ice is through the first 12 and a half minutes of play. IceCats with a face-off win. Little pinball move there. McPhail able to make the save with a pad. Shinkarik, a settling presence, but it gets through Milan and an icing against Athens.
Icing on the Rock Lobsters.
Rock Lobsters just continuing to look a little disheveled through this first period, and right now the shot on goal tally is showing that. Rock Lobsters playing on their heels quite a bit, and when they're playing on their toes, the cohesion has just not been there. Shot wide, hard off the end boards. Abdella puts it further up the ice. Matthew Gilbert trying to drag it around Kolatarsi. Daniil Glukaryov to Milan off the skate of a PD player. Van Durken, rather Dumas with a little bit of a stiff arm. Shinkarik tries to ride the blue, but it leaks out. Milan, let's see if he can dance with the puck a little bit. Bermuda Triangle, the puck gets lost in it as Milan can't direct the shot towards Kuhn. Razilov, Dominic Marcinkiewicz, Wilson through the legs, glove saved by McPhail. McPhail has been equal to everything ever since the early shorthanded goal from the IceCats. This game started with a Rock Lobster power play after the IceCats did not remove themselves from the ice in time in their warm-up, a pregame warm-up violation, and yet it's the IceCats who use that Rock Lobster power play to strike first. Razilov puts it hard off the glass and out of play. Hits the red right above the Rock Lobster bench. It's been about as clean of a game as we've seen between these two teams through about 14 minutes played. But so much of that feels like it's players trying to make sure they can even stay standing on the ice. Russian versus Belarusian here on the face-off. Another face-off that we'll have to wait for. Razilov out in front of Kuhn. Devin Maye, one of the newest Rock Lobster players out of Burlington, Ontario. Maye up the right side. Neely tries to put it where a PD player isn't. Lowell and Van Durken taking care of business on the forecheck. And every time somebody gets a stick on the puck, it feels like they just can't take the puck with them at all. That the sheet isn't made of ice, but out of Elmer's glue. Lord Centers it, cut out by Maye. Lowell chops at it. It's over the glove of Johansson. Kyle Powell getting a shift here. Malik Johnson getting ahead of Gilbert. Here's Johnson. Time and space, centering pass. And Philip Virgili's shot trickles wide. Garcia with a pinch. Johnson able to get it through Gilbert. Great takeaway there from Virgili. McGill Diaz skies it. Phil Virgili takes a hit at the penalty box glass. Brandon Walker unable to windmill around his man and then starts to tie up Wilson. Out of the zone for the IceCats. Right circle centering pass. Picked back up by Petey. Here's Wilson. Little burst of speed. Oh, and that one is a block shot from Dom Dumas. Not sure if that one hit him in the face or hit him in the upper body, but he immediately has to leave the ice. One of the hottest Rock Lobster players right now. He's had a 7-goal month of January, has Dom Dumas. Lukaryov to Kolatarsi. McPhail making a play out of his crease, and he's been less likely to do that in this game thus far, and I wonder if that has anything to do with the quality of the sheet that both of these teams are playing on. We go to a commercial break. IceCats keep their lead of 1-0 off the early shorthanded goal. More coming up here on the ARL Network.
Rock Lobster fans, this is Brad Akins. Akins Ford has led the way for years and keeps on growing. From offering the Southeast's largest inventory to being #1 in the nation in Ford truck sales, we're here to serve you. Want to customize your ride? Our Wild Willie's accessories team can make it as unique as you are. Make it legendary. Need service? Our fleet of over a dozen mobile service vans come right to you. Akins Ford and Winder. We really are closer and bigger than you think. Rock Lobsters, let's go.
Crustacean Nation, our Athens Rock Lobsters aren't the only team working hard this season, because off the ice, the Claws Up crew, the official booster club, is supporting our players with post-game meals, furnished apartments, and even bus blankets for those long winter rides. If you want to learn more or get involved yourself, go rewind, pause, scan the QR code on your screen, or visit arlbc.org. Carter McPhail is able to get across the crease and make a big-time save. Rock Lobsters have not exactly lit things up at the start of this contest. But after letting up the early goal, Carter McPhail now with 10 saves in this matchup. Takes a knock off of McPhail, who makes yet another save with the leather. I'm not going to lie to you folks, it's been tough to get a grasp of this game, get a feel, get a rhythm. It's been awkward. It's been bizarre. And I just hope that we can find some better hockey in the 40 minutes that remain after this period. It doesn't have anything to do with the Rock Lobsters' effort or their play thus far. I don't know. This game just has a weird feeling to it. Loose puck, backhanded wide. Nick Gullo there on the miss. Daniil Glukaryov can't dance through the traffic cones. McPhail watches it go out of play. Final minute 45, and as it stands, the Rock Lobsters with only 2 shots on goal. And if this tally remains, it'd be difficult to recall a shot on goal tally as low for the Rock Lobsters in quite a while, potentially ever. Final 90 seconds. A little bit of bumper cars in the offensive zone for Athens. Neely with a giveaway. Combination play, shot hard into the glass. Dominik Marcinkiewicz.
1 minute. 1 minute.
Shot knuckles over the cage. Malik Johnson content. Just get it to the logo at center ice. Johnson trying to take it on the one hand. Great little move from Van Durken, who spins towards the crease. Neely then gloves it down and tries to stick it into the oven. No, Lindsay, it does look like it's slightly off. The shot on goal tally here, according to the scoreboard in the building, is 12-3. We've had some issues with shot on goal counters before in the Florence Center. Is there one last goal in this one? McPhail able to shrug it away. Sends a stick at that shot that's wide. Final couple of seconds, hard off the end boards. And it was 20 minutes to forget. The Rock Lobsters put up just 3 shots on goal. But there might be a little extracurriculars as the Rock Lobsters potentially look for a shot in the arm. Awkward, bizarre, some of the words that I used earlier to describe that first period here in the Florence Center, but it benefits the team in baby blue. The Dee IceCats take a 1-0 lead into the second period after they go on the shorthand to start the game after a pregame warm-up violation, and yet they strike on the shorthand. Their league-leading 11th goal with a man down this season. Xavier Abdella was able to log his first point, but it's Patrick Marcinkiewicz with yet another shorthanded goal to his name. Both I and the Rock Lobsters trying to get a feel for the ice in this contest. Let's see if there are different fortunes for Garrett Rutledge and Athens in the second period. And as a matter of fact, Garrett Rutledge was once again our host on Coach's Corner, where we talked about the 3-game homestand for the Rock Lobsters last weekend, in which they were able to get back atop the Continental Division. Hope you are at home, snuggled up and are enjoying the show tonight, here is our Coach's Corner. Hey, Crustacean Nation, and welcome back into Coach's Corner on the official Athens Rock Lobster YouTube page. At the time of recording, the team is coming off of a perfect 3-game weekend at home with 2 wins against the Dee IceCats and a victory versus the Columbus River Dragons as well. Surprise, surprise, we're heading back to Florence for a 2-game series with the IceCats in their barn. As always, I'm your host, Matt Rad, and I'm joined by head coach Garrett Rutledge. My first question, Rutsy, had you ever seen before a 5-minute fighting major where not a single punch was thrown?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I don't know. Just the Fed will Fed. So you just, as a coach, kind of stand there and coach your team what's thrown at you.
Well, let's start at the beginning of the weekend with the 7-3 win on Friday. It's minute 25 into the game. Brandon Walker would score his first pro goal on a 5-hole shot through Matt Sales. He would do it again 2 days later against Columbus. It felt like he did a good job at arriving in a pocket of space in the rush both times around. You talked a couple of weeks ago about players hitting their spots at the right time in the offensive zone to create better opportunities. Does that philosophy change at all when you're talking about D-men instead of forwards?
No, not at all. We're a 5-man unit, 5-man piece out there. The new age player is like everybody looks at forwards and defense, but once you get in the O-zone, it just becomes a 5-man piece. So your defensemen just become part of the O-zone in your structure and how you need to coach, moving up through the ranks and the type of style of play throughout North America and how players want to play nowadays. So it's part of, I guess, adjusting as a coach and not having that defensive mindset. So, like, why do we not use those two pieces when they come to the blue line? Like, just because over history says that they got to be a defenseman. So why don't we just continue to bring them in as a 5-man unit, 5-man piece into the O-zone? You have 2 players out there. Why not use them? Obviously, they're gifted and they can skate, and everybody needs to roll, replace, and then take their role as people move around in the O-zone. But as a defenseman, it's kind of like one of those things you need to defend and play a little bit of offense. So it's fun to be part of, and it's good to see our guys chipping in with some goals.
Well, someone who's played as a forward and a defenseman this year, it wasn't going to take that long for us to talk about Dom Dumas. Standing on Business has really taken on a life of its own with how Doomer has been playing. He has more goals in the past 2 weeks than he has in the 84 professional games before that. Why, in your mind, do you think we're seeing Dom have the run that's unprecedented in the terms of the scope of his career?
Listen, you play with high-end players, they're going to bring out the best in you, and you get a little confidence in anything, whether it be your day-to-day life, your job, anything that you're having confidence in, you're going to be able to have success. And I think Dom has put the work in. I think he has overcome a little bit in his hockey career and maybe his personal life, and realizing that he's got a good home here in Athens and the ability to flourish and not have to look over your shoulder and kind of be able to make plays and have some fun and like, maybe not put so much pressure on you and just play the game. We have guys that score a lot of goals in this hockey team, and we have some high-end players. So at the end of the day, you finish your routes, you finish where you need to be on the ice, and you hang around the net, good things are going to happen to you. And like I said, the hockey gods look down on you every once in a while, and good things happen to good people. So it's great to see. And like I said, it's goals are goals. So it's huge for the Athens Rock Lobsters to get first, second, and third level of scoring kind of thing. It makes us deadly when we get those guys that typically maybe not score all the time. So it's great to see. It takes the pressure off Milan. It takes Neely's pressure off everybody. So it's awesome to see that our depth guys are putting pucks in the net too.
I got to be in the room as you met Rob Dumas after Sunday's game, Dom's dad and a former NHL draft pick in 1987 for the St. Louis Blues. Rob amassed more than 350 games in the ECHL as well. We discussed before what kind of characters and profiles that you have wanted to bring into the locker room. Meeting Rob, how much do you think Dom's dad has contributed into creating this character that all the boys are just really loving to have around the room?
Yeah, it's awesome to have some of the families come down and chit chat and get to know them personally. And obviously Dom's got a good support system, and his dad has played a lot of pro hockey games and how to navigate the ups and downs and the ebbs and flows of called semi-pro hockey. So no, it's great to sit there and talk hockey with him get his perspective on thing and see what makes his son tick. You can pick up little things that, as a father, he's going to tell you that Dom likes and Dom can do within his game. So it's awesome to see. And again, it was great to have him here and Dom have success this weekend. And obviously, his dad's going to be pretty proud of him after putting a few goals in the net. There's always a little bit of critiques. He probably could have had 5 or 6, to be honest with you, but I guess we'll take the 3.
When someone is hitting as much of a groove as Dom is right now, does coaching somewhat take a back seat for a player? I mean, of course, like as you said, he could have had 5 or 6, but he keeps scoring. Do you just keep trying to put him in those positions and situations to score?
Listen, once guys get hot, you got to be a coach and put them in the right spots and kind of give them the opportunity. I think I said to Mallow on the bench, I said, Mallow, we're going to put Doomer out here on the power this time. He's just been hot. And then all of a sudden, boom, he puts one in the net. And Mallow just looks at me and goes, that's coaching. So I just, you know what I mean? You kind of, as a coach, you sit back and watch them play. And when he's got the hot hand, he's got the hot hand. And I think Neely just, at the end of the day, everybody just kind of stands on business kind of thing. When you're hot, you're hot. That you get put an opportunity to succeed.
I hate to separate Gleb Van Durken from the rest of that line, but Eric Neely and Jesse Lowell, those two specifically are really finding each other well on the ice right now. What is working for you about their partnership right now?
Just like, again, all students of the game. Neely might be the older guy on there, but I think he's getting rejuvenated playing with some young guys that's finding their path within pro hockey. So you got Gleb that is from Russia and just wants to be a good hockey player and detailed and very skilled and sees the ice very well. And then you got Neeler that's been around, played throughout the American League, the East Coast, and just playing hockey because he loves the game. And then you get Jesse that comes out. He does a little bit of everything for our hockey team. It's just, you can't rhyme or reason exactly why they have a good fit for each other, but it's just it comes down to basically just the willingness to want to succeed for the Athens Rock Lobsters. They don't care who scores. They don't after points. They just they want to work together and they just want to be a cohesive unit as a line. So it's great to see. It's easy for a coach to put those guys out there. It's nice and comforting having those 3 guys when you look down and you can put them out there when you need them.
Neeler is a guy who has coaching experience himself on top of his elite playing experience. I'm sure he's not the only one that you would go and ask questions to, but is he someone that you consult with at all about what's working, who's humming, what needs improvement?
Yeah, absolutely. Him, Shinks. I talked to a lot of the guys, actually. Again, I've always preached. I have an open door policy. I like to hear from my players. I like to see what they have and the pulse of the hockey team and what's going on. So, like I said, I'm not one of those guys that's like, it's got to be the iron fist, my way or the highway kind of thing. We're all hands on deck. If they see something, obviously we can address it and talk as a group. But yeah, having those guys to bounce ideas off, especially as a coach, what do you think of this? What do you think about this adjustment? Where did we lack? What are your ideas? And going forward, how's the team mentally? Are they tired? Like all that kind of stuff. It's awesome to have those guys and that leadership and those veterans in our dressing room for sure. Has helped our group definitely.
There's one aspect of the Dee IceCats game that is better than any other team in the FPHL, and that's their explosiveness on the penalty kill. They hit us shorthanded in back-to-back games, and they've done that earlier in the season as well. What, in your mind, makes them so dangerous when they're down a man?
Well, immediately you take off. Like you get a puck, you get a good read on it. You see that you're going to get first touch on it, and when you have good confidence in your back end and as in your defenseman or your forward partner that's going to get the clear, you can cheat a little bit. You can get on your horse heading, I guess, north towards our net a little bit. But our guys also need to realize that they need to stop sniffing a little bit for too many goals and maybe a little bit of offense. They need to start realizing that when a guy goes down, you need to roll, replace, and get back up there and play a little bit of defense. I think sometimes our guys get a little lackadaisical when they're watching the puck and maybe staying a little bit longer, hoping that maybe they get a bounce the right way. So, yeah, it's kind of bit us a little bit by having those players on PD get those goals. But credit to them, though. Like I said, they're a skilled group. They work hard. They know their skill set. And again, like we just need to be a little bit better and dial it in and turn the tempo up on the power a little bit more here.
To go from Friday when the team wins 7-3 but goes 0 for 8 on the power play, which is something I don't think I've ever seen before, and then to Saturday going out and scoring 4 power play goals, What went differently in the execution between the two games?
I think it's just the game of hockey, Mateen. Like some nights you can be feeling it, some nights you can't. You just don't get the bounces, whether it be off a stick, and however it plays out. It's a credit to our boys. Like again, the Athens Rock Lobsters can win hockey games in various ways, as you can see. Special teams always helps for sure, but I feel like your power play can go up and down. It's a game of chess out there. It's kind of adjustments and whatnot. So I don't know. To be honest with you, from Friday night to Saturday night, if there's any difference, I think we had a lot of good luck. Sometimes you get some puck luck, sometimes you don't.
A new record attendance in the tank on NASCAR night. 5,913 people filled out Aikens Ford Arena, and it was a sight and sound to behold. When you're down there behind the bench, is the electricity in the crowd something that you're able to enjoy in the moment, or do you have to make it a point to lock yourself into what's happening on the ice and on the bench?
You got to lock yourself in for sure. But again, you take some time as a coach to look around and make sure that you take it all in as a coach. I've been coaching a lot of big games for the Memorial Cup and stuff. And one thing you don't ever want to do is you don't want to pass it by. You don't want to let those times slip by. You want to make sure you take that kind of moment to take a deep breath and look around at how special it is to coach and play in Athens. So it was awesome to see. I thought the staff up front, from Scott to everybody in the office, put on a great show for a Federal Hockey League game, and like be able to get that amount of people in the arena for sure, and then put on a show and have that level of NASCAR drivers, which we had like some top drivers in the NASCAR circuit, and credit to our ownership that have the business of in NASCAR and stuff. But it was awesome to see that a Federal Hockey League game could be put on at that level. It was like being at a professional, like literally a small NHL game. So it was awesome to see where the Federal Hockey League's going and the direction we're heading. So it was amazing to be part of. And again, yeah, as a coach, you take it all in. It's very loud down on the ice. You got to pick and choose your spots to talk to your team because the music's going, the crowd's pumping, and you got to make sure that you're dialed in and on point.
Well, there was definitely a show on the ice as well, and with that included another lengthy summary of penalties in that game, and that's become routine when these two teams, the Rock Lobsters and the IceCats, play against one another. Has it gotten to the point where you know that you're going to have to go out and almost literally fight for 3 points when you're facing off against the IceCats? And is that something that you wish was different?
Yeah, there's some times where you would like to just see a game a little quiet, but again, it sells tickets. It's a good show. We do play these teams quite a bit, so you get quite a rival going at any given moment. So I don't know. It's a fun to be part of. It's good hockey, but also it can have some tempers boil over a little bit. So I don't know. It's just part of being in the Federal Hockey League, which is I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but there's times when I'm a coach, I'd like to just lock it down and you know what I mean, just quietly go back to the dressing room and be done with it. But all in all, I thought for a fan perspective, and you definitely got your money's worth in those two games and the game on Sunday for sure. I thought that we put a good show on from start to finish, and whether people agree with it or not, I think some of these teams some of the players can play a villain, and we play a villain on the other side. So it's it's awesome to see, and I think it's great for our league as a whole to put on a show like that.
Well, we'll look now at Sunday's game, which you brought up, against the Columbus River Dragons, which was on paper a very comfortable win. But in that first period, it looked like it was going to be a real goaltenders battle between Babin and McPhail. Do you feel like there was some maybe deflation from the River Dragons after Babin has this great first period and then he doesn't reemerge for the second?
Yeah, again, it's unfortunate he got hurt because it looked like it was going to be a battle for us to get a goal in there. So, but it's tough for the River Dragons to come in. Obviously, they played 2 games at home, and then they got to travel early in the morning there at a 4:00 start, whatever time they left. So it's a tough turnaround for them for sure. But at the end of the day, our guys we played well, but we just didn't play sticky enough, I guess, to say. We gave up 17 shots, which wasn't great the first period, but made a couple adjustments to defend a little bit more, D-zone arrivals, and get clean exits. And obviously, once we tidied that up, you kind of seen the tide turn for us in the second period. And once the boys get rolling, it's a fast-paced hockey team that can hurt you real quick.
Well, speaking of the goaltending, Carter McPhail, he would keep his league-leading third shutout in the 6-0 win. Look, Carter's always calm, always collected, but it feels like there's been an even higher level to his confidence since his spell in the ECHL. Do you feel that as well, or do you think it's the same old Carter?
It's the same old Carter. He's got that mentality. He's got a big smile under the helmet there. I know, I think he'd like us to give up a little bit less shots, maybe a little bit. So, but you see him down there, he's doing the wave. He's got his dance going, and he's always just he's a salt of the earth type guy, and he plays the game the same way. He plays shot by shot. He doesn't dwell on what's happening or if he gets run into and whatever else. You can't get him off his game. He's just in there loving to be able to play the game of hockey the way he does, and it's awesome to see him. He gives us a chance to win every night.
It really felt like a 3-zone effort to keep the shutout in the game. Maybe that doesn't show with the 40 shots that Carter has to save. But then we've got that 5 minutes of penalties to kill with 8 minutes left in the game. And yet the only goal that ends up getting scored is a shorthanded one from Philip Virgili. How indicative to you was that goal of just how much everyone wanted to keep the 0 on the scoreboard?
Yeah, I think everybody on the bench knows it. You feel it. You know you want to keep working for the guy in the net there to keep that.
Welcome back to the Florence Center. The Rock Lobsters down 1-0, having logged just either 2 shots on goal or 3 shots on goal, whether you trust the Federal Hockey website or you trust the scoreboard here in the Florence Center. Tough to say which one might have the right number. But either way, the Rock Lobsters heavily on the losing side in the shots on goal department, down either 13-3 or 13-2. Only goal in the first period came from the Dee IceCats, who were down a man to start the game after a pregame warm-up violation. Patrick Marcinkevich with yet another shorthanded goal. The IceCats league-leading 11th tally with a man down in the FPHL. Hate to cut off our Coach's Corner short. As always, you can catch all of those on the official Athens Rock Lobster YouTube page. Well, we got a few seconds. Let's take a look around the FPHL for some of the scores. Big up to Black Bears with a 3-0 lead against the Watertown Wolves. Danbury Hat Tricks in Port Huron up 1-0. No score yet between the Thunderbirds and the Bobcats. River Dragons up 1-0 in the Columbus, Indiana rink against the Sentinels. And a tied game at 1 apiece between the Moccasins and the Breakers. And all things considered, what you might tell yourself is it could be worse for the Rock Lobsters, down only 1 goal with how heavy the shot on goals are in favor of the IceCats. Here's the danger man for PD, Houston Wilson, but Malik Johnson trying to get it out hard off the pad of McPhail, picked back up by PD. Shot stopped by Picard at the blue. Tries to chop at it. Jurgen Knight gets it back in. Good stop by Shinkarik at center ice. Once again, the passing has not been crisp. Some of the blame for that came to the ice in the first period. It's been freshly Zamboni'd, but perhaps the Zamboni was the issue in the first place. Malik Johnson has white sheet in front of him. Brandon Picard tries to cut toward the crease, and Johnson couldn't find him. Van Durkin makes a step in, pirouetting around the IceCat zone. Shot wide from the Moscow Mule. Carter Shinkarik wheels around. Puck leaks out into the neutral ice. Maye almost steps in, but Malik Johnson, who was tied up with Dominic Della Savita deep in the offensive zone, was just coming back towards the Rock Lobster bench. Johansson pops it up ahead for Lowell. Van Durkin steps in on the right side. A little bit more zip to this Rock Lobster team. 2 shots saved there by Kuhn, including one from Neely, where he's at his most dangerous. Van Durkin playing a part in the defensive core here. That one hard off the bucket of McPhail. Johansson gets shoved down to the ice by Della Savita. But JoJo's back on the puck. JoJo doing a little bit of the offensive work himself. Neely tries to get it onto the forehand and doesn't get the shot off as Kuhn makes the cover. Looks like a better start here to the second period for the Rock Lobsters. The important number on the scoreboard, though, is Athens is down 1-0. Need to tickle that twine and get the juices flowing. Will it be this man, Garrett Milan, who loves to score against this IceCat team? And this IceCat fan base loves to hate the Rock Lobsters number 10 and reigning FPHL MVP. Milan, this time the forward getting deployed at defense. It's just the way that the rushes have gone as Walker got up in the forward play. Seeing more hits here in this second period, and it almost pays off for PD. Froloff did everything right but the punctuation. McPhail with a play outside of his crease. Kuhn with Philip Virgili heading towards the welcome mat. Freezes time with 16:41 to go. Line of Virgili, Picard, and Johnson. The Swede is playing back at center with the absence of Joe Mack, who misses out tonight due to a knock. It also feels somewhat notable, the absence of Mack tonight, specifically in the face-off department. No icing, say the officials, as Johansson gets one up towards Johnson. Philip Virgili through the skates, has Picard on the other side. Couldn't shepherd it. Could the ice pick. McPhail bats it out into the air over the ice. Virgili trying to bank it to himself. A little bit of glass and gas hockey here from the Rock Lobsters. Picard playing the point. Shot blocked by Wilson. Good job there by Picard to stop Wilson from going on a run towards McPhail. Better puck movement here. Picard kicks out at it. Falls behind the goal line, and it's taken off the boards by PD. Luckily, I felt somewhat vindicated in talking to PD broadcaster Tom Callahan in the first intermission, as he told me he couldn't read the names and numbers for these PD jerseys either. PD able to pinball it out of their ice and then move into Athens territory. Neely one-times it. Centering pass into Lowell. 5 minutes gone here in the middle frame. Great dropped pass there from Patrick Smartson-Kevitz, and a slapper there is knotted down. Carter McPhail has made some excellent saves. The Rock Lobsters hoping to trouble Sean Kuhn more here in the second. Shinkarik fielded like a shortstop by Kuhn, and that takes us into the first commercial break. Rock Lobsters with a little bit more zip here in the second, but nothing to show for it just yet. Let's see if that changes after this break.
Since we opened in 1968, we've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Honey, the sink is overflowing!
Okay, I'll call a plumber.
Need a plumber? Need a pro? When you need a plumber, call a pro. Plumber Pro.
Just a little bit more than 4.5 minutes gone in this second period, and once again you could see just how much the quality of the ice has been depleted in that period of time. Does not feel like a sheet that had a Zamboni go over it a matter of minutes ago. But as always, when both teams are playing on the same frozen water, you can't make that excuse. A bouncer of a face-off won by PD. Some good speed there by Froloff, but Kolatarsi was positioned well. Falls to Shinkarik, who whistles it around the glass. Hard off the end boards to Froloff. Chased down by Gilbert. Kolatarsi with a defensive stick. Lukaryov takes it away. Shinkarik collects off the boards. Mullane pokes in it, but it's going to be offsides. Rock Lobsters with a couple of shots here in the second, which is as much as they mustered in the first 20. Draw for possession is going to happen right in front of the penalty boxes. On the dump in, Rock Lobsters find an entrance. Maya able to wall it back in. Neely bats it deeper into the zone. Awkward bounce, and there's the goal. Sometimes it's the environment that can lead to the tally, and the puck was pinballing all around, paying off for the Moscow Mule. Gleb Bandurkin makes it level on the rebound. It's 1-1. And you felt that that's all the Rock Lobsters needed, was to get that goal, to get back into this game. And then there's a face-off win from Gleb Bandurkin. Icing against Athens. Maya with yet another assist to add. He already has double-digit points. That's his 10th assist of the year to add on to his one goal. Maya has been electric on the offensive side of things since joining. Was playing in the second tier of French hockey with Nantes. Petey looking to answer right back, but shot blocked off the stick of Lord. McPhail squeezes the quads and then pokes it out with the stick. Patrick Marcinkevich alone out in front, and he can only direct it out of play. Bandurkin from Maye to tie the game up. That goal coming at the 6:33 mark. Sean Kuhn has quite the amount of games logged against the Rock Lobsters. Only has one win to his name, though. That came as a member of the Monroe Moccasins. McPhail has yet another play to make. We've seen the poke check from McPhail quite a bit in this game. And then he's able to shank it away with the pad. Virgili. Picard. Great centering pass, but no one there to put the period on that sentence. McPhail with yet another play. This time it's in his crease. Virgili tiptoes in, takes a big hit off the puck, and there might have to be some retribution for that one. Malik Johnson against Dominic Della Savita. They have each other tied up. Della Savita with a big overhand right. Malik Johnson misses with his punch. Dominic Della Savita trips on the shoelaces and goes down butt first into the right circle. Going to be 5 minutes for fighting between Della Savita and Johnson, but there was a penalty on Philip Virgili for a hard hit off the puck and at the boards before that fight happened. We'll have to see how the officials adjudicate this one. It was perhaps the cleanest first period we've seen between these two teams in what has become already an illustrious rivalry between the Rock Lobsters and the IceCats. So much of that has come in this building. And because of what has happened in this building, you hate to see anything too hard around the boards. Once again, the Rock Lobsters going back to the power play. And it feels like every time Athens has gone to the man advantage, to the quadruple P, you start to tense up the shoulders a little bit because of how prolific this PD team has been down a man. Van Durken able to sweep it back to Shinkarik. Neely looking for any sort of contact at the welcome mat. Instead, it's a whisker wide. Neely, what a great feed. Glukarioff misses by a margin. Swept back towards the net by Lowell toward Van Durken, the goal scorer of the equalizer to make it 1-1. Rock Lobsters have to field it in their own ice. Shinkarik, evasive as always. Shinkarik gets it into the zone, and what a rifle of a shot! Carter Shinkarik, what a rocket from the captain, and that is fantastic indeed. Reminiscent of the goal he scored a couple weeks ago in Baton Rouge, he goes a little bit coast to coast, and on the power play gives the Rock Lobsters their first lead of the game, and with that goal earns Crustacean Nation free churros at Paloma Park for 24 hours through the FanSaves app. Carter Shinkarik, his 12th goal of the year. That takes him on to 34 points. And he's been far and away the highest scoring D-man in the FPHL this season. 2 goals in this second period, both belonging to the good guys. Here's Shinkarik again, a slapper that's dealt with by Kuhn. Shinkarik, great job there to grab it down out of the sky. Then keeps it away from Nick Gullo. Brandon Walker. Gullo, great effort to get back out in front of the net. And now the IceCats will have a power play of their own to formulate a response. Carter Shinkarik with another highlight reel effort to take the Rock Lobsters' first lead of the game. But now they're going to have to try and keep the IceCats out. And it will be the goal scorer who gets called for the trip and will do the time. Carter Shinkarik. An important defenseman to be without for 2 minutes. Jack Johansson behind his team's net sends it down 200 feet. Kuhn leaves it for his man. Almost a dangerous pass back, but it comes off for the IceCats. Neely down to a knee, gets a pass off to Lowell. Lowell, a little bit of shimmy shake. U-turns in the corner, sends it back down. Great play there by Lowell to just shave more seconds off this PD power play. Wilson to Dominic Marcinkevich. Wilson fakes the short side shot. Razzle-off with a laser. Hits the PD player out in front. Dominic Marcinkevich with a shake of the head as he thought he was impeded. Rock Lobsters on yet another Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. They were 1 for 1 entering the second period. Here's a little of an opening, but McPhail makes another save on Dominic Marcinkevich. Milan dropping the gloves there, and it's more of a wrestling match than it is a hockey fight. Milan and Patrick Marcinkevich. And they're playing the Kurt Angle music here, and seems apt. It felt a lot more wrestling than fighting there. Not sure if there was any punches thrown. Either way, Patrick's and Milan will go to the sin bin. This second period has looked much more like the previous 8 games we've seen between these two teams. Rock Lobsters with a couple of goals. Things getting contentious.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're reaching time for 2 of the second period, which means it's time for Scrubbies. Shimmy like a shimmy.
Looks like we're going to go to a commercial timeout here. And in the meantime, the official is going to try and straighten this all out.
When you're the leader, disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Fire it up, Randy! By being prepared for anything! comes your way. There's a pro for that.
Serve Pro. Like it never even happened.
Every business owner who's built a business wonders about their company's legacy. What's the path forward after they decide to take a step back? At the heart of every succession plan is a vision that safeguards hard-earned success. This isn't just paperwork. It's your roadmap, guiding a business during a change in ownership and detailing how ownership transitions and key financial decisions unfold. This instills a profound sense of pride, belonging, innovation, and commitment, ensuring a stable future for the company and a rewarding exit for you. Let's forge that path together.
As it looks right now, looks like Garrett Milan and Patriks Marcinkiewicz will both do 5 minutes for fighting, but that Patriks, the Latvian, will serve 2 minutes for an instigator minor, and that'll put us at 4-on-4 for 40 seconds and a minute 20 of Athens power play.
Rock Lobsters penalty number 10, Garrett Milan, 5 minutes for fighting.
PA announcer here telling you what I just told you.
2 minutes instigator and 5 minutes for fighting.
Rock Lobsters will do the 4-on-4 and the power play without Garrett Milan. Might be mission accomplished there, but two important players for both of these teams going to be out an extended period of time in this second period. Patriks Marcinkiewicz for PD and Garrett Milan for the Rock Lobsters. Bumping bodies in the offensive zone. Shot gets through Glukaryov, but that took a lot of the velocity off the shot. Mishandle there from Abdella. Glukaryov, it's a great pass, and it nearly finds Neely. Van Durken trying to shug off the presence of Alexander Ledkov. And like Van Durken, Ledkov also a former Danbury hat trick that hails from the nation of Russia. Gets over the stick of Maye. McPhail comes to the rescue, and Carter Shinkarik, having served his penalty, comes back out to the ice, and the Rock Lobsters are on the power play. Neely slaps it up to his captain, who takes a big hit that rumbles the glass. Maye on the far side. Banks it up ahead to Glukaryov. Smart move there by Van Durken to leave it for Glukaryov, knowing that it would be a hand pass if he touched it. Wilson. A lot of velocity on that one and too much to handle for Patriks Marcinkiewicz. IceCats will clear their zone. We'll see if there's one last rush with 10 seconds left on this quadruple P. Lowell unable to bundle through. PD gets a skater back. Much more put together game from Athens in the second period, but they're still hoping to get it to double-digit shots. No icing from the officials. Trevor Lord trying to get free of Walker, ends up running into Dumas. Back up ahead for Lord. Someone who made a name for himself as a Watertown Wolf. Newer pastures here in PD. Oh, a shot that gets through the 5-hole from distance. Sometimes the Lord taketh away, and Trevor Lord instead adds on to the score for the IceCats. Shot right from the center of the blue, and there were bodies stacked up in the slot. That made it difficult for McPhail to see it all the way, and it gets through his quads. And we're tied back up at 2 apiece. Carter Shinkarik and Miguel Diaz are over there by the off-ice official. I'm not sure there would be much in this to call this goal off. I think if there would be is if the puck somehow found a way to get out of the zone before Lord sent the shot back in, which would be offsides. The boys in black and white now talking with Garrett Rutledge. Looks like we're ready to resume play. Van Durkin, clean face-off win.
IceCats goal, his 19th of the season, scored by number 16.
Patrick Marcinkevich and Trevor Lord with their 19th goals of the year. McPhail gets right back into it with a glove save. McPhail has been the busier of the 2 goaltenders.
Time to go 6:45 in the second period.
Wilson with a face-off win, but it's Powell who got a touch to it. Van Durkin like a Russian ballet dancer on the pirouette. Backhand shot stopped by Kuhn. Kuhn has a game played against the Rock Lobsters this season, one as an IceCat and one as a Monroe Moccasin. He was actually the victim, I believe, of that Philip Virgili one-time slap overtime winner that got over the shoulder of Sean Kuhn. One of the goals of the year thus far for the Rock Lobsters. 6:17 to go in the frame. 3 goals thus far in the middle 20. Athens had a lead at 2-1. And now we're knotted back up at 2 apiece. Much more even period of play. Jack Johansson takes a tumble into the boards. Johansson ties up his man in Frolov. Great centering pass out in front. High slot shot is blocked by Athens. Johansson does a good job with pressure chomping at his ankles. Bukaryov with a test of Kuhn that he's able to pass. I want to thank all of you for tuning in to the broadcast tonight. Spending some of your Friday night with us at home. If you haven't already, make sure you like this stream, subscribe to play a part in our world-famous chat, and ring the bell to stay notified of all future Rock Lobster content. Sent down by PD. They're going to beat the icing themselves up. Centering pass was a good one from Dominic Marcinkevich. But it was one that only McPhail got a touch to. More of a defensive forward, Dennis Zajac, doing some offensive work. Zajac is the man who does more of the dirty work for this team. I mean, he almost sets up Lord beautifully. Could have been 2 goals in quick succession for Trevor Lord, but instead we go to the commercial break, tied at 2 apiece. More hockey coming up here on the ARL Network. Farm Burger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you.
Meet our professional team, where the best customer service is our promise. With over 5 decades of expertise, trust Stanfield to keep you comfortable. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Shots on goal look like they have now been corrected to at least say what the scoreboard here says in the Florence Center. 19-7 now in favor of the hosts. We'll see in the second intermission if what tally was right in the first period. Philip Virgili is going to get there on a little bit of glass and gash. Little pop from Cola at the point. Glove saved by Kuhn. In the final 5 minutes of the second period, it's been a much better frame for the Rock Lobsters. I still think they would love to find another gear of shot generation, as they potentially might be deprived of double-digit shots going into the third period. Shot gets tipped out of play. Another crowd of people watching in the Terrapin Tap Room, and I'd love to shout them out. One of these days, I'd love to be able to call a game at a Terrapin watch party, but logistics seem to get in the way of that. I also don't know how smart it is for me to call a game with an ice cold claw shank redemption in my hand. Malik Johnson planted himself out in front of Kuhn. Carter Shinkarik with a shot that just went wide and didn't find the marvel. Shot goes nowhere from Miguel Diaz. Johnson, cross ice to Shinkarik. Shinkarik's beautiful goal took a lead for Athens at 2-1 on the power play. Johnson unable to cast a spell on the biscuit. Shinkarik puts it off the wall. Seems like the ice has just been so tacky. Like the sheet is made out of Elmer's glue instead of ice. Here's Lowell. Gets under the shot and pops it out of play. Tied game at 2 apiece. Patrick Marcinkiewicz and the IceCats took an early lead on a shorthanded goal, their league leading 11th of the year. The Rock Lobsters fired back 2 unanswered. Van Durken and Shinkarik. But then Trevor Lord with a shot from the point that found a way through the 5-hole of Carter McPhail. Van Durkin snaps the twig on the faceoff, and he races to get a new one from Micah Swift-Taylor, the equipment manager. That one goes off the post from a close distance. Johansson does just enough. McPhail with some defensive work. Maye saw an opening, but couldn't force his way through. Maye takes it back and then sends a fly ball towards Sean Kuhn. And the puck finds its way into the PD bench. Patrick Marcinkiewicz is going to get back in play, serving his 7 minutes for instigating and fighting. The ice, the quality of the ice, has really slowed down this game, and we've seen what it's like when these two teams are playing at top speed, and does not feel like we've seen that same acceleration from either side. Johansson, beautiful backhand feed toward Glukaryov. Puck was pinballing all around the slot. Johansson, great poke check from the New Hampshire native. Glukaryov trying to find a route, and right now that's been the difficult part of this entire game for the Rock Lobsters. There's been more openings for Athens in the second. McPhail with another poke check that's necessary in his own crease. Milan with a little bit of speed over the line. Backhands it to Glukaryov. Great glove save. And a rumble of Kuhn for Sean Kuhn from this Florence setter crowd. Yeah, shot on goals. Still waiting to be updated here. It's gone to 9 now for the Rock Lobsters. Still the shot generation has been uncharacteristic. Maye trying to put something onto Kuhn, who covers up. Devin Maye having a goal to his name. In just his second home game. I mean, his first 4 home games went as such. 3 assists, his first pro goal in game number 2, and then a pair of 2 assist games after that. My shot gets deflected over to Shinkarik. Waiting patiently to take the puck in was Dominic Marcinkiewicz. It's great passing play, tic-tac-toe stuff, but Dominic gets stopped by McPhail. Virgili gets tied up, and Maye centers it towards Johnson. Shinkarik with a stop at the blue. Malik Johnson bats it out of midair, and it took a piece of Virgili. Virgili heads back to the bench, and on the other side of the ice, Petey looking to take back the lead. And they're going to go back on the power play to see if they can do that before the end of the second period. Slashing the call against Maye. It's been give and take on the power play for the Rock Lobsters, but so far so good on the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Let's see if they can keep up that effort. Milan, calm, cool, and collected, and helps out Carter McPhail. Several different Rock Lobster players trying to poke in there at Della Savita. Unforced error from the IceCats, as they'll have to go all the way down and play it. And they'll end up icing it on their own power play. Fans in attendance might not agree. Peel 37 with a question in the chat. Is Luke Croucher still with the team? Yes, he is. Has been dealing with a little bit of a lower body injury ever since that game to forget against the Columbus River Dragons, that 8-4 loss where the Rock Lobsters were down to 10 skaters at one point. Rare face-off here for Eric Neely, and he wins it. Shinkarik with a shot just wide of Kuhn from the IceCat at center ice. And that's going to do it for the action in the second period. McPhail still had a last gasp save to make. Another end to a period, but a different result this time around. The Rock Lobsters able to log 2 before Lord potted one himself, and we're knotted up at 2 apiece. Gleb Van Durken was able to put a beneficial bounce past Sean Kuhn in to make it 1-1 at 6:33. And then about a minute and a half later on the power play, Carter Shinkarik goes coast to coast once again. Like a fox is Captain Fantastic. But on a slapper from the blue line, Trevor Lord gets one to go through the 5-hole of McPhail. Before we go to our Lobster Tail segment, a quick look around the scores in the FPHL. Binghamton Black Bears up big, 6-0 against the Watertown Wolves. Danbury Hat-Tricks up 2-0 in Port Huron against the Prowlers. Twin City Thunderbirds up 1-0 against the Blue Ridge Bobcats. River Dragons up 3-1 as they look to end their losing streak in Indiana. No score just yet between the Zydeco and the Scarecrows, and a tied game at 2 apiece in the Moccasins against the Breakers. Well, Carter McPhail coming off of his league-leading third shutout of the year. 40 saves in the 6-0 statement win against the Columbus River Dragons this past Sunday. I had a chance to talk with him early on in the season. I've gotten the opportunity to know Carter McPhail so much more. I wish I knew then what I know now, but now you can learn a little bit about the Rock Lobsters rookie goaltender, Carter McPhail. Hey there, Crustacean Nation, and welcome back to Lobster Tales on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It's a go-to way for you fans to learn more about your favorite players. As always, I'm your host, Mattine Rad, and my guest on this episode is coming off of his first professional start, in which he kept a shutout in a 10-0 win. Welcome to the show, Carter McPhail. Carter, thanks for joining me today, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Listen, Carter, this is your first spot as a pro. Were there nerves at all coming into this weekend? And then does a dominant win like that help settle those nerves for the long term?
I don't know so much if I would say there was nerves as much as, excitement. Having never, I guess, played pro hockey, I've seen a lot of pro hockey. I wasn't overly nervous about, my ability, just kind of excited to see where our team was at and the level we were going to be playing at.
Were there feelings about where the level might be at based on camp, especially in comparison to what you had been used to at the D1 level?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, we had been skating with the guys for a week or so or longer. But practices, it's hard to tell how good guys are. There's a lot more time and space and some drills and things like that. But I felt, pretty early on the vibe in the room and the way, some of the returning guys were talking, it seemed like we were going to have a pretty good team. And then, when we got to Indiana, that was obviously the case.
Now we're talking about practice, man. We're talking about practice. Like, how are you liking the look of the guys that are protecting your net right now? And is that somewhere we're noticing maybe a different level than the college days with guys like Shanks, Kolatarsi, Greco?
Yeah, I mean, we have veteran guys back there, which helps a lot. We're building that relationship, goalie to D. That's important. Figuring out, how we want to play certain situations. And, I'm asking those guys a lot of questions. They're, asking me a lot of questions, and we're kind of, making that defensive identity. And so far it's been awesome. Through, one game I played and another I watched, from the bench. So far I have a lot of trust in those guys. And when I, believe they're going to do their job, it makes doing my job a whole lot easier.
Is there a guy that sticks out from that group in terms of helping you out in terms of the transition or communication on the ice, anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, Carter's been, kind of my go-to defenseman. Obviously he's a leader on our team. And he's kind of come to me, once or twice and been like, hey, like, we need you to talk more, and, trying to give me a little bit more rope, as the goalie and get guys in the right spots. So, just bouncing ideas off him, building that relationship, with the leader of our team and our D core. That's gonna, help as we get into the season.
I had asked you on the bus after game one, were you sweating it out toward the end of the game? And you kind of looked at me with a grin and said, I didn't feel anything. What do you think contributed to those feelings or lack thereof of feelings?
I mean, yeah, I've played in a lot of, I guess, different styles of hockey games, from, playing in the pro summer league out in Minnesota, college hockey, junior hockey, getting even back to, I had a game in U18 where I only got 3 shots. The reality of it, and, I talked to, coach before the game, like, the net's the same size, the puck's the same size, no matter where you're playing. And, every shot has the same weight. So kind of just let your emotions go and try to stop it when they shoot it.
So to be fair, the stats said you had 56 saves?
Yeah. Team gets outshot 53 to 35 and you win 10-0. It's a good night to be the goalie.
It's not bad. It's not bad. If I recall correctly, you were out with family one of the nights in Indiana. Who came down to watch you play?
Yeah, we went, my mom and dad drove down with my aunt, to see, obviously, my first game. They've been, the biggest support, throughout my wild hockey career. They've been by my side the whole time. So it was really special for them to be there and see that. And, yeah, I have the tradition is when I win, I like to keep the puck, and give it to my mom. So it was nice to get the first win puck from Lavi in the locker room and be able to give it right to my mom, as soon as we left the rink.
No, that's a beautiful moment, Cart. And what can you tell me about home, Carter? I don't know much about Fenton, Michigan.
Yeah, so I grew up in Fenton. It's 15, 20 minutes south of Flint. Small, I guess I don't know if I would say like too rural, but just neighborhoods. A lot of weekends in the summer out on the lake, with buddies. Not the most competitive high school sports in the world, but just a great place to grow up, with a lot of great people, great friends, a lot of good families.
I had to do my research on you, and luckily I came across a video I think that was very illuminating. It was talking about the goalie mask you wore at Mercyhurst, and I believe you wore in game 1 of the season in your last year of college as well at Mercyhurst. On the back, you had a map of Michigan where you used stickers to point out important destinations in your life. You had a heart for Fenton, your hometown, paw prints for Big Rapids, where you played for Fair State. But there was also a slice of pizza sticker there. I'm watching that and I'm thinking to myself, okay,
What could this be for? Is there a really good pizza place in that part of Michigan? My shot in the dark guess is that it might be the town of Farmington Hills, where you got your start playing Little Caesars 18U hockey. Am I close?
That's exactly right. So I played just regular travel AA hockey growing up in Michigan until my first year of U18. My team, I think we only had maybe 13 or 14 players on it. I had to play player in 2 games because we had guys on vacation and sick. I did score a goal, so that was awesome.
Man, you had to have rubbed that into the rest of the guys, right?
I mean, they were celebrating, I think, harder than I was. They were all excited, but yeah. So after my first year of U18, my team folded. I had grown up basically, just playing with my friends. High level hockey wasn't necessarily something that I thought was overly attainable. And then my junior year of high school, season was over. Was getting ready to go to baseball practice, and one of my goalie coaches from youth hockey, Sean Hunwick, played at Michigan, called me. He's like, "Hey, are you going to Little Caesars tryouts today?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Why?" I said, "Well, I got baseball practice." He goes, "Okay, well, you need to go." And I was like, "Okay, like, I don't think I'm going to go. Like, they already have their goalies picked. Who cares?" And my 2 best friends from high school were standing there when I got off the phone, and they're like, "Dude, you're going." Basically told me to skip baseball practice and go, which I did. Baseball coach didn't care for that much, obviously. Ended up making the team. So I went back, played 1 varsity baseball game, and told my coach after the game, "Hey, man, I can't play. I got to go all in on hockey." So I played 1 year of AAA hockey in Detroit. We actually played at Joe Louis Arena, the home of the Detroit Red Wings, in the final season. So that was really special. We had a great year, won the state championship. And then, after that was the first year I even thought about junior hockey. And it was kind of all of a sudden I was really good and got an opportunity to go play junior hockey. And then from there it was just kind of like, all right, well, what's next? After that.
I'm sure that baseball coach is still gritting his teeth somewhere.
I mean, he's a great guy. I tried to come back and play senior year. He was very respectfully told me basically, "Hey, man, I don't think this is a good idea," which I respected. I was a little bummed, but I got to play varsity golf that year with some other buddies, so it was, all's well that ends well.
I'm going to ask you a little bit more later about the other sports you're interested in, but back to that goaltender mask that you have. You also have the Miami of Ohio logo on it, where you had played for a couple years before Mercyhurst. You had referenced in that interview how love and honor, which is the kind of the known credo for Miami at Ohio, was a motto that you really tried to embody. Can you go more into that and why that's something that's stuck with you?
Yeah. I mean, I spent 2 years at Miami. And our message, the whole time from, the coaching staff to the leadership group was, this is Miami hockey isn't about, winning hockey games. It's about, the brotherhood and leaving the program better than you found it. What kind of person are you when you show up to the rink? And just the way the university feels when you're on campus, it feels like we're a family. Everybody, the thousands of students there, everybody, kind of buys into the, I guess that identity of being a student at Miami University. And just the way that, you meet someone at the grocery store in, Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they're like, "Oh, did you go to Miami?" "Yeah, I did. And this year," like, "Oh, like love and honor." Just the way that it sticks with the alumni and everyone that goes through there was really special. And it just, that's a saying that, almost kind of like reminds me of home, the love of everybody there. And, the pride in wearing that red block M was really special to me.
I think I could definitely ask, I could definitely see in asking you how much that's stuck with you. Last thing on the mask, but I had to reference it because you make mention to one of my favorite movies on that mask. What does Forgetting Sarah Marshall have to do with hockey, Cart?
I mean, nothing, but at the same time, everything. After my sophomore year at Fair State, I got the opportunity to go live in Minneapolis with my goalie coach, Carl Popper. He was out there working for a hockey program and also coaching with the University of Minnesota. So he brought me in, let me rent out his spare bedroom in the basement. And at the time, my style of play was very, I guess someone would say, athletic, is the nice way to put it. The reality is it was very sporadic and inefficient even. Just kind of flying around on the crease, doing whatever I could to keep it out. And through junior hockey and 2 years of college, it was like, you can play like this, but if we want to get really good, we got to tighten things up a little bit. And there's a scene in the movie, Paul Rudd's character is teaching him how to surf, and he goes,
too slow, do less.
Just pop up. No, you're doing too much. Pop
You're
down.
doing too much. Do less. Pop down.
All right, pop it up.
Stop.
No,
Get
pop
down.
down. You're doing too
Remember,
much.
don't
Do
do
less.
anything.
Do less. Do less. So me and Carl kind of adopted that. So we'd be on the sheet and doing a drill, and he'd be like, "Carts, man, just do less. Like, you're moving too much. Just stand there and save it. Just do less. Do less." So it was actually my junior year going into Fair State. I got a new mask, and I talked to the mask painter at Vice Design, and we put the surfboard on the back of my junior year mask with the do less, and it's stuck ever since. I had it on my mask at Miami, so we just carried it right over to my mask at Mercer's as well.
I feel like we got to find out what your Hawaiian name is. You think it's a POP or whatever he calls it?
Oh yeah, I have no idea. That's not in my repertoire of knowledge. We could figure it out.
We now know your interest in mid 2000s comedy movies. Are there other sports I know you talked about baseball, playing baseball in high school a little bit. Are there other sports you're interested in besides hockey?
Yeah. I mean, I've never been the biggest football guy. I'm in my second year playing fantasy football, and it's not going great. I'm in last place again, but maybe make some roster moves here. I played 1 year of basketball in 8th grade. My two buddies convinced me to give it a try, and I ended up, I was the starting center on the B team. We went 21-0. So, but baseball was my other big sport growing up. I was a catcher until high school. Then they told me I couldn't be a catcher anymore because I was left-handed. So I had to learn how to play first base as a freshman. And I realized that I really liked first base. Threw the ball to you all the time. Didn't have to get hit by the ball behind the plate. And you just worry about hitting. I said, I love this.
That's interesting because as a goaltender, you catch left-handed, correct?
That is correct, yes. My baseball glove goes on my right hand and my goalie glove goes on my left hand.
So is that just more of a throwing thing? Throwing right-handed feels awkward?
I think it's more of my older brother started playing goalie before me, and we had the catch left glove and blocker. So when I picked it up, that's how you did it.
Mom and Dad's like, we're not spending extra money on you. We already have this goalie glove.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's crazy because I feel like there's a sport you're not mentioning.
Yeah, and then I mentioned it earlier. I played varsity golf my senior year of high school, and I was respectfully declined to play on the baseball team after my, I guess, lack of commitment, some would call it. Golf is just was always a game that I just played. My mom and my uncle grew up playing golf. My grandfather was, walking 18 holes and 9 holes long into his 90s. And my older brother actually works in golf full time now. He's a assistant pro at a country club in northern Michigan. So golf is kind of taken over when baseball stopped, and it's it's something to do in the summertime when you're not spending all day at the rink.
It's crazy that wasn't even the sport I was referring to. Some of the guys that have made the move here to Athens, Carter, they start paying closer attention to college football. But for you and Brandon Picard,
oh yeah,
here we go. Volleyball. What draws you and Pix to volleyball?
Me and my older brother have always kind of liked volleyball. My brother said his biggest dream was to be an Olympic setter on the U.S. volleyball team. I don't know if he has necessarily the size or the skill set to do that, but yeah, me and Pix were roommates this past weekend in Indiana, and Thursday night flipping through channels on TV, found ourselves on the Big Ten network and watched Indiana play Purdue. And into set 3, I had my laptop out and we were looking up, the different positions, how the strategy of it works, why the libero wears a different colored jersey. And we were, kind of deep diving into it. And so then Friday night after the game, I think we watched Northwestern play Michigan, and we were like, man, we got to see if Georgia has a game soon. So we got back, maybe 8 a.m. on Sunday, quick little cat nap. And then we went to the Georgia game, and it was an absolute riot. It was one of the most electrifying sports I've ever seen live.
We've got to see if we can iron out some sort of partnership with Georgia volleyball, man.
It was me, Pix, and Mott went with us as well, and we were jumping up out of our seats.
So as we start this third period, which looks to be a crucial one between these two teams, it looks like there has been some bouncing around that I'm unsure of what's right and what's wrong with the shots on goal in this game. Because right now the scoreboard in the arena now says 10 for the Rock Lobsters, which we believed that was the tally. On the Federal Hockey website, they have now given the Rock Lobsters 9 shots in the first period to bring the total tally to 20 in the game. It's been one of those evenings in all perspectives of the game, whether it be the actual ice itself, whether it be the statistics. It's been an awkward game in literally every facet that it could be. But we've got a level scoreline, and the Rock Lobsters are going to go into this third period. And third periods have been friendly to Athens in a couple of different contests. Memory might recall Athens being down 3-1 back in the first time the Rock Lobsters ever played here in the Florence Center to come back and win 4-3. The unfortunate Dustin Paralat incident where the Rock Lobsters would really dig deep to find a way to win after Garrett Milan tied the game on a shorthanded goal, and Carter Shinkirik used the large amount of power play time after Dominic Marcinkevich's boarding hit on Dustin Paralat to take the lead and eventually the win for the Rock Lobsters. Athens 7-1 this season against the IceCats, but the one loss has come in this building. Rock Lobsters with a face-off win, and there's still about a minute to go. Kuhn trying to turn with it behind his net. Ends up hitting the side of the cage. Dominic Marcinkevich works his way in on the left side. Centers a pass, hard off the boards, and back into the neutral zone. Here's Dominic's once again. Swats it out to the near side for Lord, but it's going to be whistled for offsides. Good start to the PK for the Rock Lobsters. Still about 40 seconds to go on the penalty to Devin Maillet, a slashing call against the Burlington, Ontario native. Della Savita. A bit pensive after that face-off win. Almost gets caught up by Lowell. Lowell has to skate back now as he committed his way forward on the forecheck. Down a man, Wilson down on his back. I'm sure here comes Jake Peacock in the chat. Tell you that there's a new dance called the Lobster Boy. It's been less cohesion on this PD power play, but still 10 seconds to carve something out. Malik Johnson gets it away, but not out. Puck gets out in front, missing wide. Carter McPhail able to stand tall. And Maye's back out into play. Rock Lobsters back at even strength, but the goal comes nevertheless. Alexander Ledkoff before today had scored in this building, but it was as a member of the Danbury Hat Tricks. Now for the first time against what is his newest rival, the Rock Lobsters. He scores for his new team in front of his new home fans. Ledkoff came into this team as the new leading scorer, having not even played a game yet. That's goal number 21 on the season. For the Rock Lobsters, it's not often easy. They've been the cardiac crustaceans quite a bit this season. But they're leaving it to be done late once again. Let's see if they're able to pull it off.
First of the season, score number 13, Alexander Ledkoff.
Ledkoff acquired before last weekend's series from the Danbury Hat Tricks.
Time to go 18:36 of the third period.
Put up the boards. Cut out by Virgili. Backhands it to Picard. Drops back for Walker. Brandon Walker trying to make amends on a mishandle. Some physical play at the boards. Lofted high, lofted long, and wide of Kuhn. Kuhn was expecting the icing. The icing never came. Picard skating hard in on the forecheck. Virgili centers it perfectly. Virgili then batting at it after Malik Johnson gets stuffed. Frolov out wide for Zajac. Kept in by Walker. Chopped at by Picard and into the safety netting. We still don't know how many shots on goal the Rock Lobsters actually have. Scoreboard here says 10. Federal Hockey website says 20. Is the truth somewhere in the middle? Either way, the Rock Lobsters are going to need to log more shots on Sean Kuhn. We don't really know what the shots are for the PD IceCats either. The scoreboard says 24 here in the Florence Center, and it says 31 on the Federal Hockey website. Maye gets on his horse, but Patrick Marcinkiewicz, an excellent skater. Johansson wins it back from Lord. Slapper at an awkward angle. Ooh, a hard tumble there for Milan as he wipes out. Quickly back up to his feet, though, no worse for wear. And here he is. Glove down by Glukaryov. Dumas can't get it forward. Instead, Zajic starts skating the other way. Clever touch by Patrick Marcinkiewicz, and a fantastic save from Carter McPhail. Right after the power play expired, the IceCats got their goal. Retaking their first lead since the 1-0 scoreline just minutes into the game. Over the bar from Dominic Marcinkiewicz. Houston Wilson, such a fantastic player. Been really impressed with him. Van Durken wins it back, but only temporarily. Backhanding, centering pass. PD fans celebrate, but Wilson couldn't stick it in past McPhail. Here's Wilson again. Takes a spill off of McPhail, who then sprawls in the crease to get over it. Alexander Ledkoff, a minute 15 into this period. To retake the first IceCat lead since the 1-0 shorthanded goal less than 2 minutes in. Face-off win settled by Abdella, in and out of the glove of McPhail. Little bit of speed in the offensive zone, and McPhail squeezes the quads. Athens starting to look a little bit more like the team we saw in the first period, unfortunately. Have yet to see a shot in the third period. That is, if the shot on goal tally either in the arena or on the Federal Hockey website is to be believed. Milan slaps it ahead. It comes next to PD's shot. Maye just about rides the boards towards Milan. Shot sent right back at McPhail. Johnson just helps it towards Milan. A little bit of a toe drag shot, spills out wide after taking a piece of Kuhn. Virgili, great pass out to Walker, couldn't settle it and couldn't get the shot off. But he does get the pass off to Johnson through the crease of Kuhn, who lets it fall towards Virgili. Almost a great quarterback pass for the IceCats. But the Rock Lobsters do enough defensively. Can they start getting it done on the offensive side of things? Virgili gives it up for Lord. Wilson. Milan swats in at it. Dump in from Malik Johnson and Carter Shinkarik, a defenseman, the furthest Rock Lobster skater forward. Backhanded by Glukaryov. Shot pinballs into the near corner. Picard to the point. Falls off of Dumas. Picard swats it out to the far side. Shinkarik trying to make a play from the half wall, gives it up to Wilson. And Shinkarik has to use that great speed in a recovery manner instead of an attacking one. Dom Dumas has got a little bit of a zip. Glukarioff into the side netting of the cage of Kuhn. Glukarioff, great pass. Picard just missed out on it. Grabs it off the wall. Kolatarsi hard off the end boards, backhanded by Glukarioff. Shinkarik trying to get in there. Lifts the stick out of the hands of Dominik Marcinkiewicz. Great stick work there from the Rock Lobster veteran, the captain for this Athens team. McPhail just puts it towards the wall. Neely helps it on its way. Van Durken bounces off the hit, and the puck is out of play into the PD bench. Athens has to play from in behind once again. Can they get it done in the late stages in a place where they have done it before? Stay tuned here on the ARL Network.
Hi, welcome to Chandler Jewelers. What would you like to learn today?
Looking for a new watch, something a little more fast, more precise.
Yeah, that one looks like it's seen better days. And let's get you something that can keep up.
Oh snap, I got a game to get to. Woo, plenty of time to spare.
This broadcast is brought to you by Thornton Brothers, your one-stop source for janitorial safety and packaging solutions. From restroom soap and protective eyewear to butcher paper and more, Thornton Brothers, they've got you covered. The Rock Lobsters need to find a solution to the PD problem right now. Can't be any excuses in what's left of this one. Whether it's the ice, whether it's the injuries that have plagued Athens for the past month. It's time to put all of that in the rearview mirror, get on your bike and ride. Athens ices with 13:02 to go. IceCats trying to end a 3-game losing streak. Van Durken has been Athens' best face-off man in this game. Neely pokes in at it. Falls to Abdella. Put off the glass by Walker. And there's yet another icing call against Athens. IceCats trying to end a 3-game losing streak and also trying to snap a 7-game win streak for the Rock Lobsters. Razzaloff, not usually a shoot first blue liner, passes out to the right. Dominic Della Savita misses wide. Brandon Walker trying to tie up his man. Dominik Marcinkiewicz has it fall on to the end of his stick right as he picked his twig up. Matt Garcia getting called for a penalty here. And the Athens 3-6 doesn't agree. A chance for the IceCats to really put a hurting here on Athens as the Rock Lobsters go back to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. IceCats without a power play goal in this game, but the goal to make it 3-2 happened right after their main advantage expired. Elbowing the call against Garcia. Wilson with a boost. Pass out to Lord. Sent back towards McPhail. Where is the puck? Looked like the puck took a bounce that benefited Petey initially. Lord with a shot that escaped like a stone towards the right post of McPhail. IceCats with another face-off win. From the half wall into the right circle. Where did that puck even go? Dominik's Marcinkevich with a pass that finds its way out of play. A few different kids in the crowd trying to track it down. Still plenty of power play time left. IceCats with another face-off win. Wilson almost completes the takeaway on Virgili, but Johansson's there to follow it up. Kuhn stops the puck in its tracks. Patrick's Marcinkevich has scored a shorthanded goal tonight. Will he add a power play goal to his resume for the evening? Off of Wilson, trickling towards McPhail, who stops the timer. Still about 40 seconds to go on this Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Razloff can't handle it at the point. This game has been a tough watch, and it's not because the Rock Lobsters are down. I feel like it'd be a tough watch for the neutral too, as it's been such an awkward game. And again, I don't know if the ice has something to play with it. Shot through traffic. McPhail got a piece that sent it wayward. A blast from the blue line, hard off the shin of Lowell, who makes his sacrifice. Garcia back out into play. Shinkarik looking for another laser. Malik Johnson has to handle it on the backhand when he was wanting to one-time it towards Kuhn. Mai is going to be able to let one loose. Banked ahead toward Johnson. The Marvel off the end boards. Glukariov to the slot. Sent down by Gullo. Johnson gets tied up with Gullo. Cleanly, say the officials. Mai almost lost a track of it. A little slight rush toward the net. PD fans were hoping for a call. The call never came. Johnson, clever pass into Maye, who was hoping to return the favor. Johansson through traffic, falls to Glukarioff off the pad of Kuhn. Kuhn thus far having his best game as an Ice Cat as Wilson's shot rattles the glass. Kicked to Wilson. Short angle shot, falls to the near side. Legkoff, the game winner as it stands. Maye sends it long off the penalty box. Wilson has got a step on Johansson, and Johansson takes him out, and that's going to be a penalty against Johansson and the Athens Rock Lobsters. The Rock Lobsters are going to have to go shorthanded once again, and they still need a goal to level it back up. Time ticking off the clock. Can the Rock Lobsters do it? Stay tuned after this and find out.
Thank you for calling Thornton Brothers. How may we help you?
When the call comes in, our team moves fast. Because in our world, every second counts. Every delivery means protecting people, product, and places no shortcuts, no excuses. From warehouses before sunrise to late night drop-offs when the rest of the city sleeps, we're the steady hands behind the scenes. On the arena floor, in the back hallways, and down to the locker room supplies, we help keep Athens ready, stocked, supplied, and moving. The fans feel it, the players count on it, the community depends on it. Thornton Brothers, proud sponsor of the Athens Rock Lobsters.
What was already a difficult task has just become more difficult as Jack Johansson will sit for 2 minutes, and the Rock Lobsters are going to have to perhaps be a little bit more adventurous down a man here, take a page out of Petey's book. Athens has just not looked comfortable playing their game thus far. And the shot on goal tally continues to change, and not in a way that makes really any sense. Federal Hockey website says Athens has 16. The scoreboard here in the arena says 11. The website at one point said that the Rock Lobsters had 20.
Rock Lobsters penalty number 91, Jack Johansson. 2-minute minor for tripping.
Tripping the call against Johansson. Lowell, a wise move for a rookie, just slaps it off the boards. Great defensive play from Kolatarsi. Lowell loses a handle. McPhail with a fresh sweep of his crease, which might be, again, indicative of the quality of the ice. Look at Neely's speed away. Backhand lifter saved by Kuhn. Shinkarik to Milan, a slapper that deflects into the corner. Given away to Shinkarik. Centers it for Neely, falls to Milan. Neely down to a knee in the crease. We've got a stoppage in play. It must have been because the net was off, but I never saw the net come off its moorings. Athens with some good pressure. Down a man here. Milan scans the ice before taking the draw, which he loses out to Zajic. The game-winning goal scorer as it stands. Ledkoff out to the right side for Zajic. Brandon Walker, great play there to take the man instead of the puck. Milan takes it out of the corner. Has 3 IceCats on him. Malik Johnson there to help Milan out. Johnson pokes in at it. Taken away by Froloff at center ice. Slap one-timer into the chest protector of McPhail. Good save by Cart. Now even the PD fans are silent here. And they're up a goal. Little deflection out in front. Sent all the way down. Kuhn behind his net. Charlie Bedard, haven't said his name a whole ton. 26-year-old defenseman out of Southampton, New York. Johansson's penalty coming to an end. Short angle shot, doesn't go. Johansson emerges and makes a defensive play. Glukariov, it's a great move to get it onto his stronger side, but took it a bit too far away from him. Otherwise, he might have had a scoring opportunity. Shinkarik with his back to his own net. Van Durken has looked the most comfortable of the Rock Lobster players with this ice situation. And it looks like Bedard now is going to go into the box. What version of the Rock Lobsters are we going to see here on the power play? They've given up a goal on the power play. They've scored a goal on the power play. And it's getting down to crunch time. Athens back on the quadruple P.
Now entering the All-State Associates Remax Professionals penalty box. Number 9, Charlie Bedard. 2 minutes for cross-checking.
Gets through the stick of Shinkarik.
2 minutes for outside. I'll get you back on the ice.
McPhail, risky, but comes off.
IceCats penalty kill is brought to you by Bluefish IT Solutions.
Here at Milan. It's been that kind of night for Athens. Carter Shinkarik trying to make a play from the left circle. Milan stops it between his legs on the backhand. Shinkarik from the half wall. Centers it to Milan. Great little snapped shot there from Neely in the left circle. Centers it for Van Durken. Unselfish there from the Moscow Mule, but the pass never reached Milan. Neely whistles one in. Shinkarik can't really get the shot off, but turning around in the slot, his second goal of the game. The Moscow Mule is true. It's tied at 3. A couple of game-tying notches in this game for Gleb Van Durken, scoring his 16th of the year. Van Durken has looked the most comfortable player on the ice for the Rock Lobsters, and he gets himself in a dirty area towards the paint, and it pays off for the Russian once again. We've got another tied game. And now the Rock Lobsters have somewhat turned the narrative around on the power play. 2 of their 3 goals on the man advantage. But they can worry about that later. Now the game has to find a winner here, either in the third period or later. Glukariov centers it out in front. Philip Virgili was waiting at the welcome mat. Here's the Swede again. Johnson out to the point. Johansson can't get a handle. Johnson from the right circle into the glove of Sean Kuhn. We go to the final commercial timeout of regulation. The Rock Lobsters have tied it up. Will they have some more late-stage dramatics in PD? Stay tuned and find out.
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about my future in the sport I love. From the moment I met you and your team at Piedmont Athens Regional, you gave me confidence. Your expertise, your care, your support, it all reassured me from the very start. Because of you, I've been able to recover, rebuild, and get back to playing the sport I love. Can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dream alive. Thanks to Dr. Graff and Piedmont Athens Regional, I get to keep playing the game I love.
Claudius's birthday coming up on Saturday, January 24th against the Biloxi Breakers. Puck drops at 7:05. Some exciting times ahead and many different games and different theme nights coming for the Rock Lobsters. Get your tickets now at rocklobstershockey.com. Offensive zone draw here. A rare face-off win. That's somewhere where the Rock Lobsters have really missed out. Oh, it's off the bar from Van Durken for the hat trick after Lowell tried to set it up with just one hand. What a play from Lowell. The ironwork depriving Athens of a potential game winner. Van Durken onto the backhand. He's playing like his mind is on fire. A little bit lackluster from PD in their own zone. Banked off the wall by Neely, and PD take it away. Frolov with the air. Falls to Ledkoff. Wraps it around, and Lowell starting to move it south. Neely doesn't see anyone behind him as he was going into no man's land. Ledkoff around Johnson. Maye up the wall. Virgili gets tied up. Johnson trying to get it over to Milan. Milan getting it over to Johnson. Centering pass, Walker! Rock Lobsters lead late on in PD again. Do you believe? Do you believe Brandon Walker with his third goal over the past 2 weeks? He just finds a way to arrive at the right time, and the Cardiac Crustaceans are just about 2.5 minutes away from doing it again. And you can hear a pin drop in PD. McPhail up to the wall for Johnson. Misses out on him by a whisker. Rattles off of McPhail. Virgili with a little bit of stiff arm from the Swede. Dumps it into the zone. A little bit of glass and gas here from Athens. Lord. Banks it hard off the glass, but PD's going to need a little bit more than that, playing from behind late on here for the first time since it was 2-1. Wilson might be that guy. He might be that man. Johansson trying to do everything he can. Kuhn lifts the stick up in his crease as he thought it was a penalty against Johansson on Wilson. 90 seconds left, and Kuhn heads to the bench. Empty net here Wilson from behind the net, puts it out in front. Sent down by Van Durken. Only as far as the opposing blue line. Abdella out to the right. Dominic Marcinkiewicz. Sent in by Wilson. Neely, physical play at the boards. Neely with a poke check. You can feel the adrenaline as the shot is sent down and just wide from Milan. Icing against Athens. Garrett Milan loves a dagger here in PD. Offensive zone draw. I think Gary Graham is going to call a timeout here. Gary Graham, someone who's very familiar with a couple different members of this Rock Lobster team. Garrett Milan, Malik Johnson played for him previously as members of the Pensacola Ice Flyers. Graham had a couple different stints in Pensacola, won a championship in the FPHL in 2013 with the Ice Flyers. Went on to become head coach of the Fort Wayne Comets in the ECHL. Was Pensacola head coach once again for the last 2 years, where he was hoping for some greener pastures in PD. And that's what he's got right now. But as of right now, the IceCats on the outside looking in the playoff picture, hoping for a chance to potentially play for 2 points if they can get a goal back. And this PD crowd, who has been quiet most of the night, has been stunned silent. Still a chance for them to get back onto their feet. Extra attacker for the IceCats. Empty net. Sean Kuhn on the bench. 33.5 seconds to go. There's the roar from the IceCats faithful. Shot from the right side. Now to play. That's what the IceCats need to do. They need to win the draw and get the shot off quickly. Seconds to go. Neely unable to get it through someone with a chrome dome. It's Patrick Marcinkiewicz, former teammate of Neely. Patrick Marcinkiewicz again, shot over the bar from Lord, and he looks up to the skies to his Lord above, hoping he had that shot back. Gracie asking in the chat, does anyone know if the team takes Orca's jersey when they travel? Yes, it's on the bench here in Florence. The referee won't drop the puck here, much to the chagrin of everybody involved. Oh, good Lord, drop the puck. Lowell furious. Shinkarik will take it instead. And Shinkarik wins it. Defenseman takes the draw. Patrick Marcinkiewicz from the left circle into the end boards, wraparound attempt, trickles out in front, shot comes too little, too late. The Rock Lobsters fight from behind in Florence, and they do it again. How many times have we seen Athens fight back to victory from the jaws of defeat? In the words of Garrett Rutledge, if Athens is down late, don't turn off your broadcast too soon or you might just miss a win. 3 points for the Rock Lobsters. And the question is how many shots on goal did they do it with? Here in the building, it says Petey had 34 shots and Athens with 15. On the Federal Hockey website, it says Petey with 43 shots, the Rock Lobsters with 21. We begin the wrap-up of our show tonight with the Piedmont-Athens Regional post-game show. And it feels like there's just too much to really try and encapsulate here in the final moments of our broadcast as the Dee IceCats leave the ice to try and regroup and come back tomorrow night to try and get a win. We'll be back here tomorrow night, same place, same time at 7:15 p.m. It wasn't a great start for Athens, but it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. Petey with a penalty taken before the game even started in the warm-up as they did not leave the ice in time. The game starts with the Rock Lobster power play, but the only goal on that man advantage comes from Patrick Marcinkevich, who scores the league-leading 11th shorthanded goal on the year for the IceCats. But the Rock Lobsters come back firing in a better gear with some more fuel in the second period. Gleb Van Durken scores on a rebound, and then Carter Shinkarik on a coast-to-coast goal that was reminiscent of his effort in Baton Rouge is able to whistle one in with a wrister at the 8:17 mark on the power play. And then 2 unanswered goals from Petey as a response. Trevor Lord finds a way to get one through the 5-hole of Carter McPhail before Alexander Lebkoff scored his first home goal as a Dee IceCat a minute 15 into the third period. The Rock Lobsters kind of looked like the team that they were in the first period for large portions of the third until they get back on the power play and Gleb Van Durken turns around in the slot, tickles the twine to even the game up. But the hero of the evening is the newest Rock Lobster on this team, Brandon Walker, who's been arriving at the right place at the right time as of late. And he is able to do it once again, this time as a game winner. Brandon Walker with his third goal over the past 2 weeks. Well, fans, here we are in the, how would you describe it, the bowels of the Florence Center here. And I'm probably as disheveled as I look here on camera. It's a game that was topsy-turvy and sometimes in the worst ways here in the Florence Civic Center. The IceCats come out in the first period, score the first goal of the game. It was the first 20 minutes to forget for Athens, but again, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Goals from Gleb Van Durken, 2 of them, Carter Shinkarik with an absolute coast-to-coast beauty, and Brandon Walker with the game winner with 2.5 to go, secures 3 points for the Rock Lobsters. And then we go back to game watching. Monroe Moccasins currently tied at 3 apiece with the Biloxi Breakers in the third period. We'll see how that one goes. It wasn't always fun to watch, but it was fun in the end, especially when you're able to get the result. The Rock Lobsters will go back to the hotel, try to get some rest, celebrate for just a second because they'll be back here in the Florence Center tomorrow to try and get another 3 points and make it another 6-point weekend. Well, we haven't heard any 3 stars on the night thus far, so I suppose we'll award some of our own here in the building. Only one PD player with multiple points. That was Denis Zajic, a very good defensive player who was able to play make a little bit tonight. 2 assists for the Belarusian center. Second star of the night is going to go to Brandon Walker. He's been lights out in his approach to get to the right place at the right time and put the finishing touches on great moves in the offensive zone. But star number 1, so close to a hat trick. The Moscow Mule rattled one off the bar, but Gleb Van Durken scores 2 goals and ties the game up at 2 different points. And with that win, the Rock Lobsters have secured you the Andy's Drive Back offer. Visit our Fan Saves page to claim a special post-game offer from Andy's Frozen Custard. And the Rock Lobsters also had 4 goals, and therefore Crustacean Nation has won you another frozen treat, the Freddy Score with 4 free mini sundae. Again, for more information, check out Fan Saves on how to redeem. I might treat myself to a little frozen treat after that one. My throat hurts. Rock Lobsters win 4-3 as they snatch victory from the jaws of defeat once again in a place where they've done it before, the Florence Center here in South Carolina. And now we fast forward. The Rock Lobsters do it again tomorrow night here, same time, same place, 7:15 p.m. puck drop. We hope you join us here on the ARL Network.